Are you preparing for the Praxis Early Childhood Education exam? You're in the right place, and by the end of this video, you'll have all the essential details, strategies, and confidence you need to pass the test and take the next step in your teaching career. Welcome to the Praxis Test Prep channel. I'm Sandra Wieser-Matthews, and I have a doctoral degree in education and test prep expert with Study.com. We're excited to bring you the most up-to-date and accurate information to help you succeed. The Praxis 5025 exam is designed to assess your knowledge across key content areas that early childhood educators need to master, and we're here to make sure you're fully prepared for test day. So stick with me, and let's make sure you walk into that testing center fully prepared and ready to pass the Praxis 5025. Let's start with the basics of the Praxis Early Childhood Education exam. The test is designed to measure the content knowledge that prospective early childhood educators like you would need so you can effectively support young learners in a classroom setting. The test is computer delivered and consists of 120 selected response questions, covering a broad range of subjects that childhood teachers are expected to integrate into their instruction. The questions on the Praxis 5025 are split across 6 main content areas: language and literacy, mathematics, social studies, science, health and physical education, and creative and performing arts. Each section counts differently towards your final score, so it's key to know where to focus. Language and literacy make up the biggest chunk at 30%, followed by math at 25%. The remaining sections are each around 15%, so it's a good idea to prioritize your study time accordingly. Definitely focus your efforts on language and math. Now, one more thing to know, this exam doesn't go deep into teaching strategies or pedagogy, so you won't need to memorize a bunch of instructional methods. That said, some questions are framed in the context of how young kids learn, so it is helpful to understand how to connect concepts to early childhood development. Now let's break down the test format for the Praxis 5025 and how to use smart strategies to boost your score. You'll have 120 minutes to answer 120 multiple choice questions, which means you've got roughly 1 minute per question. And yes, every single question on the exam is multiple choice, so you won't need to worry about essays or written responses. The questions come in different styles. Some will test your straight-up knowledge, while others ask you to apply that knowledge in real-world teaching scenarios. Practicing with sample questions ahead of time can really help you to get comfortable with the format and avoid surprises on test day. As you go, keep a steady pace. If a question stumps you, don't get stuck, mark it, move on, and circle back if you have time. Make sure to read each question carefully, especially when the answer choices look similar. And remember, some questions ask for the best answer, not just a correct one. So take a second to weigh your options. When in doubt, eliminate the obviously wrong choices to boost your odds if you need to guess. Now let's talk about how the Praxis 5025 exam is scored and what types of questions you'll encounter on test day. The exam is scored on a scale of 100 to 200, and a passing score is generally 150. However, every state has its own score requirements, so always check your state's guidelines on praxis.ets.org. I've linked to the specific page in the description. The ETS keeps their scoring logic confidential, even from us. However, a good rule of thumb is to take your state's passing score, subtract 100, and then treat the resulting number as a percent. That means if your passing score requirement is 150, you can roughly assume that you need to get at least 50% of the questions correct to pass. And that brings me to the next strategy tip. There is no penalty for wrong answers on the Praxis, and answering every question gives you the best chances of improving your score. Watch the timer and answer as many questions as possible to maximize your score, even if it means just guessing on hard questions or when time is running out. Next, let's go over a few important test day policies you'll want to be prepared for. First off, you won't be allowed to bring or use a calculator on the Praxis 5025. That means it's important to brush up on your mental math, estimation skills, and good old-fashioned paper and pencil methods. The testing center will provide scratch paper, so be sure to practice doing basic arithmetic, fractions, and percentages by hand before test day. Now, you may be wondering, will they give you a formula sheet? Unfortunately, nope, you'll need to memorize key math formulas. But don't worry, this is an early childhood education exam, so you're not expected to know anything too advanced. Just focus on foundational concepts like calculating perimeter and area of simple shapes, finding the average of a set of numbers, understanding place, value, number operations, and the order of operations. Make sure you've got some quick problem-solving strategies down too. The more confident you are with the basics, the easier it will be to keep your pace and stay calm during the test. Now, let's break down the content you'll see on the early childhood education exam so you'll know exactly what to expect. The test is divided into 6 main content areas: language and literacy, mathematics, social studies, science, health and physical education, and the creative and performing arts. Each section is designed to assess your understanding of fundamental concepts and how you can apply them in an early childhood classroom setting. The language and literacy section makes up the largest portion of the exam, accounting for about 30% of your total score. This section evaluates your knowledge of foundational literacy skills, including phonological awareness, print concepts, phonics, fluency, and vocabulary development. You'll also be tested on reading comprehension strategies, understanding different genres of text, and applying literacy concepts to classroom instruction. Since early childhood educators play a crucial role in fostering early reading, this section will assess how well you can support young learners in developing literacy and communication skills. Mathematics is the second largest section of the test, making up 25% of your score. This part covers number operations, algebraic thinking, geometry, measurement, and data analysis. You'll need to understand how to explain mathematical concepts in ways that young children can grasp, such as using visual models, hands-on activities, and real-world applications. Expect questions on place value, addition, and subtraction strategies, identifying shapes, and understanding measurement concepts like length, weight, and volume. Since calculators are not allowed, you'll need to rely on mental math and problem-solving skills to answer these questions accurately. The social studies section accounts for 14% of the exam and focuses on key concepts related to history, geography, civics, and cultural awareness. You'll be tested on how young children learn about their communities, understand social roles, and develop a sense of identity and cultural appreciation. Questions may ask you to identify ways to teach children about maps, historical events, and civic responsibilities in a developmentally appropriate manner. The science section also makes up 14% of the test and assesses your knowledge of basic physical, life, and earth sciences. Expect questions on topics like the properties of matter, the water cycle, ecosystems, and the scientific method. This section also evaluates how well you can engage young learners in hands-on science activities and encourage inquiry-based learning. Since early childhood education emphasizes exploration and curiosity, understanding how to create science-rich learning environments is essential. The health and physical education, creative and performing arts section makes up the remaining 17% of the test. This part evaluates your knowledge of fundamental health concepts, including nutrition, physical development, and social-emotional well-being. You'll also be tested on motor skills, movement activities, and strategies for incorporating physical activity into daily learning. The creative and performing arts portion covers music, visual arts, drama, and dance, assessing how well you understand the role of creative expression in early childhood education. Since this test evaluates not just content knowledge, but also how you apply it in real classroom scenarios, be prepared for situational questions that require you to think like an educator. The best way to prepare is to review key concepts in each subject area, and then test yourself with authentic practice problems that ask you how to apply them in instructional settings. If you have questions here, make sure you check out our Praxis 5025 playlist, which is full of sample practice problem videos where we walk you through the solution step by step. So, How do you exactly start preparing for this exam? We recommend a targeted approach, which brings me to my final strategy tip. Take a full-length practice test early in your prep. This is one of the best ways to figure out what you already know and what you need to focus on. Think of it as your personal roadmap for smarter, more efficient studying. Here's a bonus tip. If a full-length test feels too daunting, consider checking out Study.com's diagnostic quizzes. Study.com has customized quizzes for each Praxis test code to analyze your performance and create a personalized study plan. This helps you focus your efforts where you'll need them and have the biggest impact, so you can spend less time reviewing what you already know and more time where it counts. No matter how you study, try to simulate real test conditions whenever possible. That means timing yourself and sticking to the same resources you'll have on exam day. At the end of the day, preparation isn't just about learning the content, it's also about building test day confidence and mastering strategies that help you succeed when it matters most. And that's a wrap. Your ultimate guide to passing the Praxis Early Childhood Education Exam with confidence. If you're looking for more in-depth practice strategies and walkthroughs, check out our Praxis Early Childhood Education playlist right here on YouTube. And when you're ready to level up your prep, head over to Study.com. If you're serious about being fully prepared, Study.com has everything you need, including full-length practice tests, hundreds of exam-style questions, and a personalized study plan. Our users have a 92% pass rate, so you'll go into test day knowing exactly what to expect and how to succeed. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and hit subscribe for more Praxis prep content. Got questions? Want to share your progress? Drop a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and remember, you've got this. Stay focused, keep practicing, and we'll be here to support you every step of the way.